Little did I know I would get into online education this year. This channel has just been a crazy amalgamation between doing funny content and being an idiot and interviewing people on the street until I made a video about Halifax, Nova Scotia, teaching international students how to come to Canada, how to start living here, and I noticed there was this global interest. So I started realizing I don't really fit in at school. The education system doesn't really do much for me. I'm not a naturally intelligent person with a very high IQ, but I'm very socially intelligent. I know how to motivate people. I know how to speak to people. I know how to do some pretty cool things like build businesses and make sales, but I never really knew what I wanted to do with all these talents. All I knew was that I wanted to be able to help as many people as possible, especially people who are more naturally capable, more naturally, I'm talking about in their DNA, smarter than I am, so that we can make the world a better place together. Now that's very broad, so let me bring it back a little bit. I started online education very recently. I started on Udemy, and I saw that so many people were creating courses and actually supporting themselves full time from teaching online. So that got me thinking. I looked into the education industry, and the education industry is approaching around $5 trillion. It's huge, and that made me realize, you know the reason why in lesser economically developed nations education is a problem? Because capitalist markets own the monopoly on education. And I think we need to take that away a little bit. I'm not saying that conventional education and universities aren't good. They produce doctors, they produce nurses, scientists, chemists, engineers, journalists. They produce people that run our society. But it's undoubtable that we have a problem. We have a problem getting education out there to be accessible to many people. And the reason why it's hard to find different means to educate people in other countries is because if we release things like online education, alternative methods to get certified in degrees, university and the ultra-rich will lose their power and momentum to ascertain that control over the population, to actually be able to get students. We're marketing from the time that we're in school, from grade 1 to 12, that we need to go to university if we want to get a good job. But that's not true. I'll tell you why that's not true. Look at people who didn't go to university. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. Look at Bill Gates. Look at people who have done amazing, fantastic things. Sure, yeah, they got involved with university. They started there, but they went against the grain. They didn't just follow their programs blindly. They said, okay, there's something else into this. I can look into this and I can produce something amazing. So, what is my plan with online education, and why is it becoming a big part of my future? My plan in 365 days is to get on a plane, go to different countries that, you know, education is a problem, lesser economically developed nations, and I want to build my own online school. And my own online school is going to have a philosophy. It's going to have a principle. I'm going to be giving away free educational resources to people around the world who aren't able to afford it. Meaning, I'm going to create as much knowledge, as much of a, education hub as I can to provide information and radically change the educational landscape of the future. My goal is to make an online school, generate enough passive income in the next 12 months to be able to travel the world, find these places, experience them firsthand, and build an online education empire. But not for myself, not for the revenue or for the money, but for one thing. We have to understand that education is changing. The landscape is changing. There's people who want you to believe that it's not. People want you to believe that it's going to be the same. It's going to be traditional. Countries are just catching on now. We look at Finland and we look at Sweden. We look at the Scandinavian countries that have a different take on education. They have alternative education plans and some really cool stuff out there, but they're just realizing that they can make the school system different now. See, if we jump ahead a little bit, we jump on this trend of online education and we start building online schools, finding a way, I don't know how yet, I haven't cracked the code, but to make education available to other people and then secure a monopoly over it, and not for ourselves in a capitalistic mentality, oh, I'm gonna dominate education and become rich myself and give it to these teachers. And teachers work really damn hard, but I think instead of having administration above those teachers, people with a passion for teaching should go ahead and dominate the industry themselves. I'm not saying teachers shouldn't get paid. I think they should. I think it's people who have secured education as an asset. I think we should remove that layer, that admin that's dominating how our education is distributed, and actually secure it ourselves and distribute it to other people. Now, I'm only 20 years old. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. For all I know, in the next year, I might want to become a chip truck salesman. But this is where I'm at right now. I'm still doing the things I'm doing before. My marketing agency and my ability to make those sales and talk with people is going to be a funnel into building this plan that I have. And the educational empire is going to be built over 12 months, the foundation of it all, to build the online school, to get the initial students. I have a total of 15,000 students right now, so I'd say I'm doing okay. And I've got that in the past 3 or 4 months. I'm doing a really cool program with another company. I can't disclose it right now because I have a non-disclosure agreement, but what we're doing is we're looking at some of the tools and analytics that go into online education. I don't want to use a whole bunch of jargon, but we're really tapping into this now. Here's a summary. In this video, I had a lot of opinions about education, who owns it, where it comes from, and who's making the money. Now, I also have a plan. My plan is I would like to build up my online education presence and platforms on Udemy and Skillshare and my own online school so that I can build up enough passive revenue to travel the world and learn about places where education isn't very good. My next steps would be to build actual physical schools with different philosophies and different principles that would be mandated differently than traditional education. So we'd be building an education counterculture. Our next steps would be to build this up to compete eventually on the same level with traditional schools. How I'm going to do that, I don't know. But I plan to secure this foundation in 12 months while I finish my last year of university. I hope that's simple enough for everybody to understand. I'm not being condescending at all. I just know it's a really wild idea, so I wanted to sum it up in a mission statement at the end of the video. If you want to let me know how crazy I am, please let me know in the comment section below, but I'm really looking for honest opinions. Your feedback, no matter how small it is or how much you want to write, no matter what you write, it's going to be helpful for me. So let me know what you think.